Buy and hold rental properties 101. If you ask me, it's one of the best passive income strategies anyone can start. If you want to learn how and why to start investing in rental properties for passive income, then please like this video, give it a like, comment down below for the YouTube algorithm. It will really help support my channel. Welcome back, my name is Alex Sanchez. In this channel, we talk about money, investing, and real estate. If you want to learn how to start making, saving, and investing more money so one day you can become financially free and not have to work for anyone ever again, you can start by subscribing now. Investing in rental income properties is one of the many strategies you could get into if you want to invest in real estate. There's so many things you could do with real estate. You could wholesale real estate. You could buy mobile park homes. You could buy single family homes, multifamily housing. There's so many other ways that you can invest in real estate. I personally love investing in rental income properties because they're super simple, it's super practical, and anyone can do it. Anyone can figure out that there's always going to be a demand for housing. There's always going to be people that are renting. People are always going to need a place to live, and that's why I invest in rental income properties. The process of investing in rental income properties is you buy a property preferably under market value, preferably a property that needs work. That way you can scare away home buyers, and the more work a house needs, the less competition, and most of the time the better the deal you're going to get. For example, a house, a condo, a townhouse, you do slight repairs on the property that not only will raise the property value but will raise the rent for that area. You fix it up, you put it in the marketplace, you look for tenants, you screen tenants, you make sure you do rigorous screening because you want a good tenant to be living in your property. And when you have a good tenant living in your property, it's less stress, you're gonna get paid, and you're not gonna have issues with them breaking things and just chaos going on in all of your properties. After you screen, you find a good tenant, you write up a really good lease agreement, and that lease agreement will protect not only you but the tenant as well. You want to make sure this lease agreement is in your favor as a landlord, but at the same time you're not screwing over the tenant. Everything is legal and everything is written on paper with the contract. After the tenant agrees to sign the contract, you make sure you collect the first month's rent and the security deposit. After you have that, you hand over the keys, and you always make sure to accommodate your tenant because you want to have a good relationship with them and you want to build good habits. That way they always pay on time and they love renting from you and they stay there forever and ever, and you live happily ever after. If you keep doing the same thing, wash, rinse, repeat, and if you keep adding more properties to your portfolio, eventually you'll acquire enough properties to make enough cash flow to cover all your expenses, and then you are free from having to work for someone ever again. But let's not get carried away because some of you guys are not open-minded or just don't see it. My goal is to teach you guys so eventually you guys can see what I see, so eventually you guys can do what I do and become financially free. Let's take it step by step. Keep learning, keep educating yourself, keep watching other creators on YouTube that can teach you so much more, that just have so much more content out there. And anything you need to learn about rental income properties, I'll be happy to answer any of the questions down below. You may be asking, what makes a good rental income property? Not everything is a good deal. In fact, most of the stuff you will see that's for sale is actually a bad deal. At the end of the day, the math and the numbers do not lie. You don't fall in love with the property because it's got that homey feel. I don't care about the property, I care about the numbers. A simple rule of thumb when you're buying rental properties is the 1% rule and the 2% rule. The 1% rule is that the property or the house that you're buying, if the price you bought it at is at $100,000, then that property should rent for a minimum of $1,000 per month. That equals 1% of the total purchase price of the property. I try to aim for the 1.5% to 2% rule. So if I buy real estate for $100,000, I want that real estate to rent out for $1,500 to $2,000. With this simple rule of thumb, you're almost guaranteed you have a good deal. But you don't stop there, you keep analyzing the property. Most properties do not pass the 1% rule or even get close to the 2% rule. Just by looking at that rule of thumb, you know that you can eliminate almost every single property that you find on the MLS. Another requirement for a good rental property is to look at the real estate taxes for the year for the property and make sure they're just not too high. I have found deals on the MLS, compare $200,000 properties. You would think that they're both going to cash flow, they're both going to make you the same amount of money every single month, but house number one has property taxes of, let's say, $10,000 a year, when property number two has property taxes of $4,000 a year. Well, obviously property number 1 is not going to cash flow, and if it does cash flow, it's not going to cash flow much. Property number 2 is going to definitely cash flow more because taxes are $6,000 less per year that you have to pay, which means property number 2 will cash flow $6,000 more per year just because the taxes are $6,000 less. A good thing to remember about real estate, whether it's rentals or flips, the most expensive repairs you put into a property, usually the less return on investment you're gonna make from that repair. What's kind of ironic is the least expensive repairs or the least expensive upgrades to a property are usually the ones that bring you the highest return on investment. So most of the time, a renter's gonna look at a property and be like, oh, who cares about the electrical? I can't see it. All they care about is the aesthetics of the place. They want a place that's clean, that looks fresh, that's updated, and stands out from the other units that are for rent. You might be wondering, what are the best areas to invest in rental income properties? I have to say, I live in the Midwest. I live in the Chicagoland area. And personally, I think I live in one of the best markets to invest in rental properties. States like Illinois, Indiana, Tennessee, Texas. Typically, you want to stay in the Midwest because the Midwest, you could buy affordable rental properties. The Midwest just makes it feasible for a lot of people to be able to invest in real estate. Quite honestly, the Midwest has the best return on investment because the rents are high compared to the purchase price. Now, if you go to the East Coast or especially the West Coast is not a good area for cash flowing rental properties because there is so much real estate that just costs way too much money. And the thing about the real estate is that it does not cash flow a lot. If you're investing in California, you're pretty much investing for appreciation of the land. The values of the properties over there are just skyrocketing, so it's a lot easier to invest for appreciation. Appreciation is when the value of the property goes up over time. There's nothing wrong with investing for appreciation, but it's not something that's going to pay you every month. It's definitely for the long term. It's not for cash flow every single month. So what makes rental income properties so great? There are 4 ways rental income properties pay you, and that is with appreciation, depreciation, rental cash flow, and mortgage pay down. The sole purpose of my rental income properties are to provide cash flow. But what other people don't realize is that rental income properties pay you in 3 other ways. So over time, your property depreciates because it is seen by the government or by the housing authority or whoever runs the show, that when you buy real estate, over time, the property's, breaking down. The property's pretty much deteriorating. And as that's happening, you're able to write that off on your taxes. But we know that over the long term, the property values are going up because inflation, because the dollar is worth less money every single year. So everything goes up. For example, when I was a little kid, I was able to buy 4 hot Cheeto bags for $1. And now I think you buy like 2 for $1. Depreciation leads to appreciation. Appreciation is when the value of your property goes up over time. I believe the appreciation of property over the long term has been an average of 3% per year. That means if you bought a $100,000 house this year, next year, that property's probably worth $103,000, considering that it probably went up 3%. Obviously, some years the market drops, the market goes up, it all fluctuates, but the average between all the numbers, all the data, is roughly 3% per year. The last way you get paid with rental income properties is that there is mortgage pay down. So this one is pretty much self-explanatory because when you get the rent from your tenant every single month, you pay the mortgage and then you pay yourself with the cash flow. The mortgage is being paid down and over time they're paying down the property for you. But to me, rental income properties are just really practical. You don't have to go to college. You don't have to be smart to know that people will always need a place to live. Rental income properties are the way to go if you want to build long-term wealth. How many of you would be happy with an extra $100, $200, $500, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 coming in every single month? The hardest part of this whole process is starting and acquiring your first property because you don't know what you're doing, you don't know what you're getting yourself into, and quite honestly, you're kind of scared because it's not easy to let go of 20, 30, 40 grand because we all know that it takes a long time, it takes a lot of sacrifice to be able to save that money. But once you do acquire that first property, here's the thing, property number 2 is going to get easier to buy, property number 3 is going to be even easier, property number 4, and so on and so on. The stuff gets easier as you get better, as you get more knowledge, as you learn. It's a learning experience. I learned real estate for 5 years before having any money, because I did not have enough money for a down payment on a property. But all that knowledge has definitely helped me to manage my risk, keep absorbing all this free knowledge that you can get all over YouTube. And most importantly, you get to learn from my mistakes. You get to learn from the stuff I've done. Life's too short to live mediocre, to live day by day, to be living in a rat race. The biggest risk anyone can take is not taking the risk, it's not going for it, and it's living life with regret, knowing that you ran out of time and you did not try the things that you knew you should have done or you wanted to try because you were scared of what others thought about you. And ultimately, there's no scarier feeling than that. With that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. Make sure to gently destroy the like button and comment down below for the YouTube algorithm. Let me know what topics you guys would like to see me talk about. I'll see you guys in the next video.